Y'all know what time it is, man. Come in the same way we leave the same way we come in. Make sure y'all staying relentless in y'all pursuit to self-improve, to be 1% better every day. And always keep the Most High first. Always. I got a message for y'all today. This is not really a typical day or even a typical moment where I drop a video. But God put this on my spirit to drop this video. One of the main things about this life, y'all, one of the most beautiful things about this life, man, is when God just gives you clarity and understanding on what the whole clubs of this journey, this mission that I'm on is really all about. And I'm gonna start with saying this, like, I had like a very interesting dream a couple of weeks ago, and it didn't make sense. It was like 2 weeks ago. And I'm gonna break it down to y'all and tell y'all about the dream and things of that nature and how it applies to, you know, the video that I made a couple of weeks ago and how it applies to everyday life that we live now. As of right now, I'm reading the book of Psalms right now. I'm in the book of Psalms right now for anybody that's interested and curious to know. But a couple of weeks ago, I had a dream. And I was at work and I forgot some equipment at my job. I was looking all around looking for the equipment and I couldn't find it. And it was like 6 dudes, like 6 guys. I'm not gonna say who they are, of course. I'm not gonna say any names, but it was like 6 guys and they were dressed in all black and they were just looking at me. Like no fierceness or no anger or anything like that. They were just looking. And I'm looking at them, and I'm looking back as I'm going to try to get the equipment. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm just going back to, get the equipment. And they just standing there. And I wake up, and then like no more than 3 minutes later, I heard 4 gunshots. I heard 4 gunshots, like boom, boom. It was like 4 of them. And then it stopped for like 2-3 seconds. And then it did it again. Boom, boom, like 4 shots. I don't know. Sometimes it could have just been a coincidence. But I say all that to say this. I talked about in my last video 3 weeks ago, we're in the spiritual war. And like I said, when I was processing that dream, like I couldn't even go back to sleep that night. I'm like, bro, what the hell? What was this dream about? And I couldn't find any understanding or any leeway to what it was really about. And so I couldn't go back to sleep that night. It was like, it happened like around 2-3 in the morning or something like that. So I couldn't go back to sleep. So I just got up, maybe like I laid there for about 2 hours. And I got up like around probably close to 4:05 to get my day started. And it just didn't make any sense to me. But fast forward now 2 weeks from now, like I said, we are in spiritual war. And I am in the book of David, which is crazy. Like, one of the main things that stands out in the book of David that I was reading yesterday, it was like, I will make you a table in front of your enemies. And or something along those lines. If I'm wrong or anything like that, people can correct me or whatever the case may be. But it says something along those lines. I will make you a table in front of your enemies. You know what I'm saying? And one of the main things, y'all, this like, people get this thing overrated when it comes to blessings in life. Sometimes it's not financial. It's not always financial. It can be an extra rep in the gym that you may be able to do in the gym, or whatever hobby that you enjoy. You may be able to get an extra couple of miles of running on a treadmill, or running in general, or an extra couple of breaths to get some shots up. Couple of endurance to to run and catch a ball, or whatever the case may be. A couple of endurance to box, or whatever hobbies people enjoy to do in this life. Or it can be clarity. It can be knowledge, more wisdom, more understanding, more discernment. More downloads to make videos as I made this video. And I think this is the blessing in all this, that I get to make these videos for y'all and help people along their journeys. So it's not always financial when it comes to blessings, and some things can be financial. It just depends. You know what I'm saying? So, because everything that we get financially is not always of God. So we got to keep in mind that certain things are set as traps. And one of the main things on this journey, and I'm gonna get to y'all, and how it ties to everyday life. Like, once again, this journey, it takes a lot of discipline and a lot of self-sacrifice. And I tell y'all, I made a post a couple of, probably like a month ago, going on 2 months, about my father and how he's really the soul. He's part of the reason on why I started this journey. Of course, having my son, of course, that's part of it. And then for me as well, for me to heal, and for me to heal generational curses. So that's what a lot of this stuff is about. We are in spiritual war. And I'm gonna tie all that into this one, into all of this. When you're on your initial steps of growing and evolving in life, that's when the devil sets traps. So I can go back to a couple of years ago. I've had a lot of job opportunities, y'all. A lot of opportunities that could have made me a whole lot of money, but it wasn't in alignment with my spirit. If it's gonna take me off my relationship with the Most High God, it's not for me. So as soon as it don't fit right here, sit right here in my spirit, I walk away from it, or I say, this doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to my spirit. It doesn't make any sense for me to take on this position if it's gonna take me off my correlation with God. And this how tricky the devil is, y'all. Like, the person that offered me this job opportunity, and this was a couple of years back, he was like, it ain't nothing like swiping your card and not worrying about what comes out of your bank account. Like, shit, like, excuse my language, but stuff like that, that's demonically based. But it never sat right with my spirit. And the crazy part about it is that less than 6-7 months later, people who had that job, y'all, the people that had that opportunity, they end up having to leave the job because he was either going to fire them or he was finding other people to do the job. He was finding other people that can take those positions and take those particular spots from those particular people from that job. So the same people that took job opportunities from, they end up leaving 6 months later and going somewhere else. So those are some of the traps that devil sent. And another thing, y'all, like, it's like, we know that when you on this journey as a man, one of the main things I struggled with, especially growing up, was, and I talked about it in my videos a couple of months ago, was lust. And, you know, women, I love women, of course, but nonetheless, y'all, and like I said, I have my types and things of that nature. I'm getting real with y'all, because this is a lot, but it's a lot of women that I turned down this year. And there's a lot of women that I turned down last year as well. It just wasn't in alignment with where I'm going. So I'm not going to sit here and say that it be traps that the devil set. I'm not going to sit here and say that those women be demonic or they be devilish or anything like that. It's not nothing along those lines. But anything that can be a distraction or deter you where God is trying to take you, it could potentially be a distraction only if you allow it. But one thing that I will say is that a woman cannot be a distraction to a man unless a man allows that woman to be a distraction for him. So I say all that to say this. I've turned down a lot of things, and it's done nothing but make me more stronger mentally, physically, and emotionally. And then circling around all of this stuff with my father, it gave me the internal strength and pressure to deal with some of the strongholds that we have to deal with in this life, because life is never easy. We all have our days. We all have our good days and our bad days, man. But it's always about being 1% better, as I preach every day. You know, always try to look for a positive. Always try to look for a positive out of a negative situation. Always, what is it that you're learning from it? Try to add a positive connotation to it for that particular day. Learn from it, meditate on it. It may not make sense at that particular time, but you walking with God, He's gonna give you clarity. He's gonna give you understanding. So that's one of the main things in this life as well. Never look for closure. God gonna provide everything that you need when it comes to clarity and understanding on this journey. You know what I'm saying? As the book of Proverbs say, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean out of your own understanding. All your ways submit to Him. So that's one of the main things in this life. Stop looking for clarity and understanding from other people. God will give you what you need. He's going to give you the clarity and understanding on this journey. You just got to stay focused and locked in on Him. But it correlates around my dad, because when I had my son, y'all, and I didn't say this in my last video, I'm getting real with y'all. I really did felt like I fucked my life up. Like, And because the reason why I felt like that is because, like, I wasn't as excited as I was to have a son or have a child. I knew I wasn't really mentally ready for a child. And when I held my son, I was on an emotional high that was beyond this world. And I was like, in my mind, bro, I don't know how I'm gonna do this dad thing. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna do my best. And it was a spirit that came over me and said, you're gonna do just fine. I don't know if that was the Lord or that was my dad talking to. I'll take it as both, but I think it was God saying, you're gonna do just fine. And that's when I didn't even, like I said, like when I had him, that's when I started that was the day I started my journey. I started like the next day, that following day. Well, I ain't gonna say the following day because I was in the hospital a couple of days ago as well, with my son as well. But as soon as I got home, that's when I started my journey. And it started around fitness. It just started around fitness at one point, and then it correlated to the spiritual and things of that nature, to making some of the sacrifices, letting go some of the the temptations and some of those things. And it's easier said than done. It's never gonna be easy. So, and I'm still on my journey as well. But that was in 2020. We in 2026 right now, and I'm still on the journey. It's always something we can always improve on in every way, shape, or form. Like healing is never. It's like you don't never fully heal. You know what I'm saying? It's a journey. It's a dance that never stops. So, and one of the main things about my father and how it ties down is breaking generational curses. Because, like I said, I'm getting real deep in this video. My father, he had a lot of worldly knowledge. He had a Bible, but he didn't have the discipline to stay with it. You know what I'm saying? My father, he wanted to do right. He really did. But and God bless his mom, my grandmother. God bless her soul. I'm not as close with her. Well, on her side as I would want to be, because we all got things going on. But God bless her soul. God bless her. And she had him real young. And my father, he tried to do right, tried to study, go to school and things of that nature. But when you're around a lot of partying, drinking, around a lot of people that's into the things that's not of the Most High, partying, drinking, cussing, drunk, fighting, things of that nature, like all those things. And my father just had that mindset. He tried to do the right thing, but he was like, fuck it, if you can't beat them, join them. These are some of the things my mom used to talk. As I gotten older, my mom told me a lot of things about my father that she hid from us because we were babies. But yeah, and he had that mindset. It's very sad when you think about it. But it ties in. He had a lot of worldly knowledge. And the night that he died, as a child, of course, it don't make sense. I mean, you're a child. You don't know any better. The only thing you see is people talking crazy, weapons, and people drunk and smoking, and that's the only thing you see. And you, like, as a child, you don't know no better. You know what I'm saying? You really don't. But as I got older, it makes a lot of sense. Like, my father, he lost his life to a guy that really wanted what he had. And my father had, of course, kids, had a wife that loved him, kept himself up, was fly, kept his hair cut. You know what I'm saying? Like, he knew how to crack a joke or two. I'm the opposite of what my father is. I'm very bold. I'm very bold, but my father is bold in a more nastier way. Like, he gonna tell you something in a nasty way, and he don't care how you feel about it. Like, if he say that you ugly, he gonna tell you that you ugly. Like, just for example, you know what I'm saying? If he say that your kids or whatever the case may be ugly, he'll tell you that directly to your face. Like, my father was very bold, bro. Like, he didn't throw no punches at all. And he wasn't a perfect man or anything like that, but he just was misguided. He didn't know any better. And so dealing with all that and seeing all that, like, he was very bold, and I'm very bold as well, once again. But I tell the truth in a more empathetic in bold way, but I'm gonna tell you the truth, not to not hurt your feelings. I'm gonna tell it from you from a place of love, not a place of hate in any way, shape, or form. It's coming from a place of love with me. My father didn't care how you took it. That's the difference with him. I'm gonna come from an empathetic way. He gonna come from to a bold, nice, nasty way. And if you don't like it, you know what I'm saying? F you. That's basically that was his mindset. And at the end of the day, I can respect the game in this way. Like, and I'm talking to y'all on some real stuff, man. I know a lot of this stuff supposed to be spiritual, but it ties into more ways than one of breaking generational curses and staying focused on my mission. He had a lot of worldly knowledge, and instead of not looking at the thing, and as I gotten older, it makes sense. Instead of looking at the fact that this nigga, excuse my language, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to do too much cussing on this channel, but instead of looking at the fact that this dude that took your life from you want what you have, and it's not even about, it can be the material things too, but it can also be inward. Most people be jealous of your inner strength as well as an individual, and that's why I get a lot of hate and a lot of pushback on things of that nature. And of course, you know, I got, you know what I'm saying, I know I'm a go-getter. I know how to, you know, get mine and things of that nature and provide and do for my loved ones and my people. But that's what my father had, and that dude, everything that my father was, that's what he hated on. And when you, and like I said, he used a knife to kill him, and that knife, that's a level of hate, man. Like, people talk about that gunplay, but that knife is something serious. It really is. That's and me not thinking as a child, I didn't know any better. Like I said, I'm just like, bro, what the fuck is going on? And I'm thinking, like, as I'm growing up as an adult, like, why the fuck did I have to see that, and why did God put me through that? But it was to build me up. It was to build my strength, my courage, my inner strength, compassion, and being empathetic for the times that we're in now. And like I said, life is hard for all of us in more ways than one. But it was to build all those things up. And if my father had the emotional intelligence to understand that this dude want what I have, and my wife is at work, I'm supposed to be getting her, my kids here, I need to be taking them home so I can go and get my wife. Instead of looking at it like that, like I said, my father had a lot of worldly knowledge. He just went with his move. He just, you know, he died who he was. And I can respect that element of the game. I can respect it. You know what I'm saying? Even though it was foolish pride. And what the Bible say, pride goes for destruction. It comes before a fall. And it can lead to your demise. And unfortunately, it led to my father's demise, man. But either way it goes, life is a balance. I can respect it. And living this life now, I talked about, we battle not against flesh and blood, but against wickedness and principalities in higher places. It talks about those things. And the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, they're spiritual. And once I take my ego, once I learn how to put my ego and my pride aside, I start I look at the game more beautifully now. And I like, not from a different perspective. I ain't gonna say more because what that dude T.I. said, he said, I got love for the game, but I'm not in love with all of it. And to this day, that shit still hurt me to this day. I still, like, Lord, I still cry or still have moments about my father. I still wish he was here to this day. Like, don't get it twisted or anything like that. I still wish my father, and I hate that I had to see that, but I understand the balance. And it's about breaking generational curses. So with me, and by me having my son, it makes a lot of these things make a lot of sense to me now. Like, understanding that walking this path, you're gonna have enemies, you're gonna have people that hate from afar, and a lot of these things, the gunshots and things of that nature that I was hearing in the videos, it's about walking by faith and not by sight, y'all. These demons, these people that operate in higher places behind the curtains and in the darkness, I know they can do certain things. They can harm property, they can break into people's homes or try to break into people's homes, and it's another aspect of that. It's a difference between killing and murdering as well. So, but I get into all that, but that's another topic for a different day. But I know demons can do things to rattle you in the spirit or try to put fear in you or try to irritate you, but if it gets to that point where they're able to harm property or anything like that, it's a spiritual deficiency that you would need to tighten up on. And I don't know who that message is for, but it's really for me, and it's also for anybody else that deals with anything dealing with spiritual war based. I told you, when I heard the gunshots 4 times, of course it wasn't near me or anything like that, but I heard them, and it was weird that I heard that as soon as I woke up from the dream. But all of this stuff is spiritual, and like I said, I'm in the book of David right now, and all of these things correlate more to one. We know that these, like I said, they can provoke fear and all those things into you, but it's about walking by faith and not by sight, y'all. You know, we battle not against flesh and blood once again, but yeah, man, it's just about staying focused and locked in on your mission and on your journey at hand. And like I said, this life is never easy, and when you walking with God, God don't choose people to be comfortable. He didn't choose me to be comfortable in any way, but the fear of God's the beginning of wisdom, man. So I'm gonna take what I've learned from my journey and that I'm continually on and on this mission, and apply each and every day to make these videos, to you know, to read, and to, you know, make any type of personal sacrifice that I need to make every day to be closer to God. And I noticed, like, when I posted, and I don't have my Instagram linked to my YouTube platforms or anything like that, but I have my Instagram profile is linked to these YouTube channels. But it's very ironic that as soon as I posted that about my father, that's how I know it's spiritual war. A lot of people start popping up on my page. A lot of them. So sometimes, like, the devil sets traps. You just got to be mindful of them. You know, it's about seeing and don't seeing and understanding what type of war that we in. And it's a lot of traps that the devil set for God's people. But a lot of these things, y'all, God been preparing this for me. Like I said, last year I didn't turn down a lot of temptation. Last year I didn't turn down a lot of job opportunities. Even the Bible said, what profits a man to gain the world but lose his own soul? I didn't been there, done that. So the test is gonna keep coming. They're gonna keep coming over and over and over again. And when you pass the test, that's when you start to level up in more ways than one. It may not even, like I said, it could be more ways into whether it be more whether it be spiritually, whether it be more clarity, understanding. And I asked God for clarity. A week ago, 2 weeks ago, in more ways than one, and that's why I came up with this video. He gave me the clarity and understanding from that dream. He gave me the clarity. So anything that I ask of the Most High, He's gonna give it to me, because I've done the work and I'm still doing the work. It's a work. It's all about being 1% better every day, a work in progress each and every day. But anything that I want of God, He's gonna give it to you. It may not be right then and there, but it's gonna come. So it's all about, you know, trusting in the Lord, leaning out on your own understanding in this life, man. In all your ways, submit to Him, and He's gonna make your path straight. That's it. That's all, y'all. That's the message that I got for y'all today, man. Y'all continue to, you know, stay prayed up, stay focused, and keep going. Stay focused. Keep going and staying focused, man. Y'all know what time it is. Come in the same way we leave the same way we come in. Make sure y'all staying relentless in y'all pursuit to self-improve, to be 1% better every day, and always keep the Most High first. To the next video, I love you all. Peace.